So those last two examples were calculator examples. If you have a calculator part of your test and question comes up, most likely it's not on your pie plate. This question would have shown up on the non-calculator part of your exam. If a cosine trig equation solved is on the non-calculator, it means it's somewhere on your pie plate. Or it's one of those ones where it's not possible. Okay, so we're like, I want to solve for cos. This is what I want to get by itself. Does it make sense that first we could divide both sides by 2? But this is cos squared. Cos isn't by itself. We need to get rid of the squared as well. Any ideas how to get rid of a squared? Square root. Okay, so we need to square root this side, which it just becomes cos. And we need to square root this side, which becomes the square root of 1/2. And then I made the most common mistake that everybody makes. Can you see the most common mistake that I did? Yes. When you square root both sides, it's so easy to forget, but it could have been positive or negative. So we need to add the plus or the minus. Careful. A 1/2 is on your pie plate. But this isn't a 1/2. This is square root of a 1/2. And the square root of a 1/2 isn't on your pie plate when it's written this way. However, we can play around with this. If you have a square root of fraction, are you okay that that's the same as the square root of the top over the square root of the bottom? And the square root of 1 is 1 over root 2, which is the same as root 2 over 2. You're allowed to leave square roots in the bottom in grade 12, but you need to know how to work with it, because if something like this came up, we need to recognize this is our pi over 4 family, or 45-degree family. Which quadrants are we going to look in? All 4, because we're looking for positive and negative. So we recognize this from our pie plate as our 45-degree family. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And check, I solved between 0 and 360. Finally, they didn't change the domain on me. Yay. It said to solve between 0 and 360. So this is done. Questions for practice are going to be 5 and 11. And actually, in 5, I'd like you to change the instructions a little bit. Question number 5, if you look at it, it says verify an answer. And I actually want you, verify means you just have to plug it in to make sure that it works. I actually want you to solve it completely. So each of those questions, just practice solving them completely in question 5.